Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. And today we're going to be going over a company that I previously visited. And this company is none other than Boosh Foods. Currently the market cap sits around $15 to $17 million. So it's a very small company, however, it does play in an interesting space. They're a plant-based frozen packaged food company, similar to Tattoo Chef. So today we're going to be actually walking through how I researched this company, and I'll be giving you a quick overview of the company, trying to look at the stock chart, see what we can glean from that, and any other useful information that I find along the way. So this is going to be a slightly different format than usual, but hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. Boosh Food reached out to me and they wanted me to do a review on their company. This is not a recommendation to buy, however, we're just going to be going through the company, and if you do your own research, then it's up to you whether you want to buy the stock or not. Currently, I do not hold a position in this company as I haven't done enough research, but this is part of the research process that I'm doing right now. So I'm on the website, and first of all, it looks kind of neat. Like the way that they brand the website is appealing to people who come across it. I mean, maybe the packaging over here looks a little bit like Zare's No Name, so that could be something that plays a factor into consumers and how they perceive the brand. But looks aren't everything. Let's continue moving on. So the food that they put over here, it actually looks decently tasty, at least for someone who's a vegetarian. Personally, I enjoy my meats, so I'd love to see like a steak or a burger over there, but you know, for what it looks like, the food looks decent, and if I was looking for something healthy to eat, I wouldn't mind that. Scrolling down, we can actually see the number of retailers that hold Boosh Foods' products in their stores. And a lot of these I've seen. I've seen Whole Foods, Metro, Safeway. I've seen Highland Farms before, IGA. Maybe about half of them I know of, but it looks like they are in a lot of stores. Let's click on the store locator and just see whereabouts Boosh Foods is. Currently, I'm located somewhere over here in Ontario, but it looks like they have a decent presence across Canada. And they have yet to make it over to the border into the United States. So it might be interesting to find out later on if they do have plans to go over to the United States. Now jumping back to the front page, just to scroll through the rest of it, let's see what else we find. So it looks like they have a bit of a blog here, just as extra value to customers who are looking for some ideas of how to integrate healthy foods into their meals. They have an Instagram. All right, let's check out their Instagram. So currently the Instagram has 2,447 followers, 385 posts, and they follow 970 people. These numbers seem okay for a company in my opinion. Let's check out Social Blade right now. Alright, so looking at the following of Boosh Foods on their Instagram. Looks like recently they had an uptick in followers, 133 followers gained in this past week. So if I was looking into this company as an investment, I would definitely follow Social Blade and just to see how many followers they are gaining. Because the more followers that they gain, that's just like free advertising for them. Okay, let's go over to the investors page and see what they have. Their investor presentation, let's download the one-pager. Okay, so the one-pager states here that they're in over 300 stores, including Whole Foods. I don't currently live near a Whole Foods, however, if I do go to Toronto, I do pass by Whole Foods. So next time I go out there, I'll definitely look for Boosh Foods and see if they are in Whole Foods. They currently are offering 6 delicious frozen meals, so their product SKUs, only 6 of them. By the way, if you want to know the ticker symbol is VGGIF. I'll be going over the stock chart later on, so hang tight. They approximately have a 28% inside ownership. So they had over 1,000 investors participate in their IPO, and they IPO'd at $2.875 million in the raise. And likely the IPO investors who are retail investors own about maybe 20 to 30% of the company. The company was founded in 2017 by Connie Marple, so we'll definitely have to go search her up. All right, so Connie Marple's her profile right here. Let's just see what she's done. So she founded Boosh Foods September 2017, and before then she was a realtor for herself. Not really much background on her in terms of what she's done in the plant-based food space or even how she got started, so I don't really get much detail here about the founder. So it looks like only in 1 year, their first products were on the shelves through Metro in Vancouver. So this company started out in BC. They won some awards over here, which is, I guess, good to see that people do value their food. And these are all their different types of SKUs that they have currently. Mac and cheese, coconut curry, cauliflower, Mexican fiesta, veggie bolognese, a hearty shepherd's pie, and rustic veggie pot pie. So over here they stated in the summer of 2021, Boosh is breaking into the refrigeration category with 3 exciting new SKUs: Sloppy Joe's, mushroom gravy, and chili. Now let's go over to the product page and see if they have those out yet, because summer 2021 is over now. So, yep, it looks like they have them here. The Sloppy Joe, chili, and good gravy. Just click on these here. Let's see what they've got. Nope, no more descriptions about it. Interesting that they also have other products on their site. Salt Spring Harvest. Not sure if I read about this before. Might be one of their in-house brands. Okay, going back to their investor page, let's see what else they have. So we're going to download the latest Boosh investor presentation. So this is currently the presentation here, the mission, why we do what we do. All right, so we have a bit more of a bio on Connie Marple, their founder. So she's a seasoned entrepreneur with a background in fine dining, sales, promotion, and marketing. She was a pioneer in the wine bar industry, having opened the Vancouver-based wine bistro and wine stores, Ventropolis. Let's go search that up right now. All right, Ventropolis has a 4.1 star review, permanently closed. So it looks like she must have closed down her business, and it was in Texas, but looks like there were decent reviews of that. The success of Ventropolis led her to receive the coveted Condé Nast Traveler's Best New Restaurant in the World list 2005. So she was doing this about 15 years ago. She quickly became known as a leader and innovator in the plant-based food industry and recently won the 2020 BC Food and Beverage Rising Star Award as a result of her success with Boosh. So it looks like she or her successes have been noticed by some sort of award. So this is what makes Boosh a category disruptor, all these different points here. But I'd be curious to see how they stack up against Tattoo Chef. I haven't done much research into Tattoo Chef, but if you guys know much about Tattoo Chef, and if you guys are an investor in Tattoo Chef, let me know what you think about Tattoo Chef versus Boosh and their products. These are some of the competitors that they've listed. Very good food companies on here: Else Nutrition, Beyond Meat, Oatly, Tattoo Chef, Impossible Foods. However, they don't really list themselves here, so I'd be curious what their revenues were in the last 12 months versus, their market cap, we know it's at about $16 million, and the share price is about $1.20 today. Let's see if we can find more information on that. While I was looking for their revenues, it looks like they acquired a company called Salt Spring Harvest, which is why we saw their products earlier on their page. Okay, so I can't actually find their revenues, so we're actually going to go to cedar.com and fish through and do some research. So I found their income statements as of March 31st, and this is before they IPO'd, because they IPO'd around May time. So they had $285,000 in current assets and $626,000 of current liabilities. So this company didn't have enough current assets to cover the current liabilities. However, with them going public, they raised a decent amount. So earlier we did gloss over how much they raised in their IPO and their one-pager, and it was around $2.875 million. And this is at a price point of 50 cents per unit. They have about 16 million shares outstanding, so at a price point of $1.20, it's around a $19 million company today in Canadian dollars. If we're looking at US dollars, it's about $16 million. So the capital raise of $2.8 million is more than enough to cover their $626,000 of current liabilities. They don't have any other outstanding debt or no long-term debt, only a $13,000 lease liability, which is basically, this is the lease amount that they're going to have to pay upcoming if they want to continue using their building. It's not actually a debt really to them. If you look at their sales, they sold $108,000 worth of product in 2021. In 2020, they sold $128,000 worth of goods. So I'd be interested to see why there was a decline in sales in 2021. They ran a negative gross profit versus in 2021 versus in 2020, they had a positive gross profit. So it looked like expenses increased, and that just might be a product of COVID-19, where there's more PPE required for their production staff and stuff like that. Also, maybe because things were shut down, people were less inclined to buy frozen foods and decided to cook a little bit more healthy. Looking at their total operating expenses, they spent about $722,000 in 2021. Compare that to $157,000 the year before. However, the large expenses that they've had were general and administrative expenses. marketing, sales, and distribution, as well as professional fees. Professional fees is probably related to their like IPOs and income statements and financial statements that they had to do pre-IPO. They also had some share-based payments, so this is paying their employees likely in stock. They ran a total net loss of close to $1 million in 2021. So with $2.8 million and them ramping up spending, I expect them to do another capital raise about a year from their IPO because they seem to be growing their expenses, and they're doing this in order to grow the business like through brand awareness, sales, and marketing and stuff like that. They have been increasing the number of stores they're in, so that's a positive sign. However, if you're looking to become an investor in Boosh, definitely look out for the sales numbers quarter by quarter and see how they're growing. Looking at their cash flow statements, so this is actually the money exiting their bank because some things that are counted as expenses aren't actually a cash expense. For example, the share compensation. The company doesn't actually lose money when they compensate someone with shares because they count with those shares kind of in thin air. Effectively, that just dilutes the outstanding shareholders. So the amount of cash that they used last year was about $500,000. They basically doubled the amount of cash that they used from 2020 to 2021, and if they continue on that trend, then they'll probably spend around $800,000 to $900,000 in 2022. So that's a quick overview of Boosh Foods and their financial statements as well as the company. Now let's move over to the stock chart. So we're going to go over to the US stock chart VGGIF first, and it looks like there isn't much activity. In the past, right now, we're in the past month. We can see the volume for Boosh is around 20,000 shares, 38,000 shares. So we're talking about roughly $38,000 is being invested in and out of Boosh every single day. If we do that, if we want to try to figure out the percentage of the float, 38,000 divided by the total number of shares, about 16 million times 100, that gets us about a 0.23 or 0.24% of the float is being traded every single day. Typically, I'm looking for stocks that have a float of around 1%, so I'd be looking for about 160,000 shares of Boosh to be traded. The reason why I'm looking for a higher amount of shares traded per day or the volume is because if you have a very low volume stock, any sort of selling pressure or buying pressure could cause immense swings in the stock price. So if we have someone who's like a shareholder of, let's say, $1 million worth of Boosh, they roughly have 1 million shares. And if they decide to sell off 100,000, that's about triple the volume that we're seeing on an average day. And that would really move the price down if they sold, or if they decide to buy 100,000 shares, that would swing the price up. And the reason is because of supply and demand. Looking at the Canadian stock chart, it's roughly the same. However, there is a bit more volume, about 35,000 shares, or an average volume about 50,000. So if we do a combined total volume, then I'd say on average we're seeing about 70 to 80,000 shares traded, or about 0.5% of the total amount of shares. Now you also have to take into account that insiders own about 28% of Boosh, so let's say there's about 75% of the shares outstanding that are available for the public to trade. So this is a good thing that there's a bunch of different investors, and I think they highlighted that they have about 1,000 investors who participated in the IPO. So there's 1,000 different people out there who hold Boosh shares at least. And this means if you're looking to buy or sell, you have to either convince one of the 1,000 investors to buy or sell their stock. So theoretically, I think if this company gets a bit more publicity, they can start to form a solid investor base and have some decent trading volume. For now, personally, I'm just watching the stock and keeping it on my radar. Currently, I do invest in the Very Good Food Company and have a significant amount of shares in there, as well as I have some Beyond Meat shares. So for me, my exposure to plant-based foods are in these two companies right now, and I don't really see a room for Boosh just yet. I'll be monitoring the stock going forwards, and this will always be on my radar. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'd love to hear if you're invested in Boosh. If you invested in their IPO, why did you do that? Or if you had the chance to, why did you not invest into it? If you guys want to check out this other video right here, it's my latest video on my TFSA portfolio. You can check it out right there. It shows the 3 stocks that I recently bought. I'll see you there if you're there. If not, keep up the grind and have a great day.